So this is very, very last minute and totally unplanned. The reason I'm doing this at the last second like this with like no preparation whatsoever is because I'm about to throw these shoes away. These are the Brooks Adrenaline GTS 21. I have tried on the 22 as well, but I don't have them with me, so I can't give you like a here, look at this, here, look at this comparison. But I can at least tell you what these were like. So if you like these, should you get the 22 or should you try and get another of the 21 while they're still being sold, because they are a lot cheaper now that they've been out for a little while. I've had these for over a year, so I wear the size 10 wide. I have tried the original one and they were just a little too tight for me. So when they told me they had a wide, I thought, oh, I don't want to be one of those people with one of those extra widths, like, oh, not just a 10, it has to be a wide. But you know what, when you're running, it's gotta fit. So I got my 10, got my wide, tried them on the store, felt really good. Two things that drew me into these is, one, the heel rise. Some people would say this is a little bit excessive, but it is 12 millimeters. I used to run on 0, so I'm used to being much, much closer to the ground, but I was having a lot of heel pain and ankle issues, and somebody suggested trying going a little bit higher, so I did, and they felt absolutely heavenly. The second thing was I had moved to a new state where there was snow and ice, and I had never had to worry about running in snow and ice. So I was getting desperate to find a shoe that could handle running in snow. And these had beautiful grooves on the bottom. These are obviously worn away. You can barely tell now. You know, if I turn them sideways, you can see a little bit of the grooving in there, but this is nothing compared to what it used to be. And of course, the top, you know, I've worn them almost down to the bottom. Absolutely love these on the tip to catch a little traction at the last second. So I also wanted these nice grooves. I did not do any kind of modifications aside from just getting them in wide. I didn't change the insoles, I didn't change the laces. They did really, really well going up and down hills. This is not something I would use on a trail. I feel like because they're not trail shoes, there's better options out there. You could use them on the trail, I just don't think they would perform that well. These are considered stability shoes. They're basically a stability version of the Brooks Ghost. If you've used those and you like them, but you want a little more stability, that's basically what these are. They're basically the Ghost, but with a little more guidance. So the whole idea of having a guardrail or kind of a piece of plastic or support running along the side to like keep you from going too far one way or the other, I think it was, oh shoot, I can't remember, but there was another brand that came up with it before Brooks. It wasn't Brooks who came up with it, somebody else did. So it's not a Brooks original idea, but the guardrail system has been floating around a little bit. Some people love having that extra stability. I like having a little extra stability, but I also like having the ability to angle my feet as needed, especially if I'm going to be climbing over something or on a surface that is not even. Like, I need to be able to adjust my feet so that I can balance. And I love the way they did the guardrail system with these. It's not so aggressive and solid that it keeps you in neutral position all the time. It's more like as you start leaning to one side or the other, you start feeling pressure. So it's more like it gives you a reminder that you're kind of falling off center, but it doesn't actually stop you from doing it. If you try to ignore it and you keep moving away from neutral, it's gonna start hurting. So you're not gonna have total freedom with this shoe. If you want to be able to do whatever you want without discomfort, this is gonna bother you. I think this is just going to annoy you. But if you want just a little bit of support, a little bit of help, kind of like holding someone's hand, but you don't want to feel like you're on a tricycle with training wheels, I think these are a great idea. I love them. I would not advise them for anything other than road and maybe some general dirt, because the grooves, although they were nice and deep, because of the shape, you see these sort of little plus signs here. They were originally a lot deeper than this, but I don't know if you could tell on camera, but this side, this is a lot wider. Sometimes things would get stuck in here, which I couldn't really feel it. I mean, there's so much between the ground and your shoe. You can't really feel that little pebble. It's not like a princess in the pea, you know? But it does kind of bother me when I would take them off and I would see there was like pieces of dirt stuck in there. That would really get on my nerves. For slush, they're not waterproof, so you are going to get your feet wet if you go through anything deep. Snow didn't seem to stick to them, so it seemed to fall right off, so I didn't tend to have issues getting wet when it was snow. I did pretty much just during slush. That was really the only time I had water issues. If it was raining, I just didn't go out to begin with. I mean, I don't think it's very smart to run when it's freezing cold outside in winter and it's raining anyway. If running during summer and it's warm outside, I don't really care if my feet get wet. And you can always do the old school trick with using a grocery bag around your ankle and sock to help keep your feet dry. But ultimately, the shoes, they're pretty breathable. I still wouldn't say they're my favorite for summer. I have another pair that I like a lot better. But in winter, with the grooves, the lack of ankle pain due to the heel rise, I was very, very happy with these. I mean, I honestly expected them to look a lot more beat up than this. You can see that this part's, it's a lot more flexible than when I got it when it was new. There is a bend to it, but it's still relatively stiff. I use them for running up and down hills. I stay on the road. I don't go on dirt. But as you're going up the hill, you're using that front of your foot to pull yourself up higher, right? So the front, that's why this area is so worn down here, is from me going up the hill. And even with it worn down like this, there's still plenty of grip for me to go up. When you're running down a hill, pretty much every step you take is a brake. You're hitting the brake every time to stop yourself from falling down the hill. So when you're going down a hill, you need a shoe that has the ability to absorb a lot of impact under the heel. And if you're having heel pain like I was, running down the hill in a zero is an absolute no. So that's another reason I'm really, really glad that I have the higher heel rise. These did excellent going down hills. When I first started wearing them, I kept thinking I was going to fall because I was so used to having my foot flat, and now suddenly I'm at an angle, just a completely different feeling. But I got used to it very quick. I didn't really have to break them in. There wasn't a break-in period where I was, where they felt stiff and I had to loosen them up, but they fit right away off the bat. So I was very, very happy with that. They didn't feel too tight. They didn't feel too big. They were a perfect fit for my feet. The insoles, there's nothing special about them, but when I tried to put a customized insole in, there wasn't enough room. It made it just a little too crowded. So if you want to put insoles in here, definitely get something that's a low profile. I didn't have an issue with the insoles they came with, so I decided to just use those instead of switching them out. But if you have something very, very special that you absolutely need to have with your running, definitely go up a size, or better yet, take it to the store with you, try the shoes on. What I didn't like, laces are really, really short. So if you're wearing a thick sock in winter, like a wool sock, or even a non-wool sock that's just thick, you can barely tie a bow with these laces. So you may have to replace them with something else. Minor detail, but still kind of annoying considering how expensive the shoes are. You would think that the laces would be a little bit better than this, but that's okay. Just replace your laces. A lot of people like to switch out the laces anyway because they have a particular type that they like. So the laces, that was a little bit bothersome. I think that the 12 millimeter heel rise was a little bit more than what I actually needed. And I have noticed a really significant decrease in my flexibility when I do exercises that involve squatting. So for example, if I want to do a deep squat, I can't seem to get down as low as I used to. So I have lost some flexibility in the back of my legs. I didn't have that issue until getting these shoes. So I have a suspicion that I lost some of that flexibility because I got so used to being perched up so high on these shoes when previously I was used to being flat. So I'm not going to buy them again. I loved them, I did. But I really want to focus on my flexibility more. So I'm going to see if I can go down a little bit in the heel rise, not back down to a zero, but something a little bit lower than the 12 millimeter. If I didn't have things going on outside of my life, and getting down low in a squat wasn't important to me, if it didn't have an impact on my life, I would absolutely keep getting these. Regarding the GTS 22s, I don't have them with me because they have the same exact heel rise and I didn't want to just repeat what I did before. So I didn't buy the GTS 22s, but I did try them on, and they felt pretty much the same as these. I didn't really notice the difference. And when I asked the guy at the store, he said that they made some minor changes to the upper of the shoe, and that was the only difference. So if you like the GTS 21 and you're trying to decide if you want to get the 22, I would just stick with the 21, because really when I put them on, it didn't feel any different. If you can't find your size in the 21 anymore, then I say go ahead and get the 22. It's going to feel extremely similar. I'm sure anybody at the store can help you find a similar build. I was recommended the Hoka RE6 to replace these. Now, they don't look anything alike. I know that. They look nothing alike. Nothing whatsoever. But this was a recommendation if I wanted a slightly lower heel drop, but not super, super dramatic. So I think these are like a 6, so half of what I've been using here. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if this is going to be painful, if I'm going to get used to it. I don't know how my legs are going to react to it. But I'm going to give these a shot. This is my next journey. I've heard so many different things about Hokas. It seems to be an incredibly bipolar brand. People seem to either absolutely love them or really, really hate them. Like, I heard it's one of the most commonly returned shoes. It's Hokas. So, we'll see if I like them or not. But, yeah. Just wanted to share that before I throw these shoes away. It's kind of hard to say goodbye to something I love so much. But, anyway, safe running.